Hi everybody and welcome to Indigo Sky Holistic. I am dropping in today with some words and thoughts on the rather interesting tradition that appears to have taken off and become a bit of a thing within entrepreneurial circles and within mindfulness and wellness circles as well. Something that I've done for a few years and something that I know quite a number of people have done for a few years as well. The increasing tradition of the word of the year. So yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit on that, my word of the year, and thoughts and feelings on how you might like to choose a word of the year, and reasons why you might not want to choose a word of the year as well, because hey, it's always good to keep your options open for things that you follow, trends that you tap into, and some people find this like ridiculous, and some people find it empowering, and some people find it boring, and some people find it goes the way of resolutions. And I am not one for setting New Year's resolutions. So anyway, hi everybody, I'm Davina Ketson. I'm an energy healer, psychic, holistic therapist and creative, and I'm also a home educating mum of 3. And I always mention that because somehow, somewhere or another, something around the choices that I make as a mum and a home educator, home educating mum come up, or I get interrupted while making videos because there are 3 people under the age of 16 just about bobbing around in my house all the time. And I am at home again today because I am not in my therapy room again for another couple of days, and I am set to make these videos for you all for a while. So I am on my bed, so whilst you're set up on a little tripod, it's a bit bouncy if I move. Woo! So yeah, can't move too much. Anyway, so the word of the year is a thing that I started and came across, oh gosh, it's a few years ago now. I've been going back on my posts on social media, on Facebook and Instagram, to see if I can find out the first year I did this. I could see a word of the year that I had. I think it was going to either have been 2019's or 2020's word. I think it was 2020's word. I'm absolutely sure. Just going back on over what events and what things that I did early on before things went crazy in 2020. And I'm fairly sure my word of 2020 was surrender. I can see the phone background wallpaper is the word I'm looking for, that I had for 2020, or for the year that I had surrender as my word. And all my devices that I had back then are gone. So all of my like saved images are gone because I don't back all my shit up to the cloud. Yeah, I don't back shit up to the cloud. To any cloud. I do have some Google images, but I don't back all of everything up to the cloud. I'm sure we can talk about that sometime, but I don't think we should be putting all of that information out there on the internet. There's enough on the internet as it is. She says that she makes a video for YouTube. But anyway, hi YouTube, I love you. So the word of the year, something I come across. I think the first year I may have done it was 2019. I definitely know that I did it in 2020, and it's something that I've then done each year since. And last year I definitely remember that my word was playful, and whilst I kept that word in my mind through 2024, I definitely didn't take much action to embody it very often. I did just definitely, it was definitely there. It was definitely my peripheral awareness. And my just turned 10-year-old is a master at playfulness, even still at 10. She is she has a playful energy about her as a little Gen Alpha being of light. She is a proper playful being. She embodies the inner feline that she has, and the inner canine. She's definitely got some like inner stories of soul journey there that she's been connected to, Lyran energy and stuff. But anyway, off on a tangent of star families and the like with that. So we'll come back to that another day as well. But anyway, words of the year. So it's something that's been practiced. I came across it in an entrepreneur group that I was part of, a membership that I was part of, back in 2018 and 19, and 2020 as well. I think I left the membership either at the end of 2020 or mid 2020 or early 2021. No longer felt aligned with me, and it felt like expense that I was putting into something that wasn't providing me with what I felt was required as an energy healer, as an energy healer and intuitive entrepreneur, as opposed to like I don't know, a business entrepreneur. Even my product based business that I'd had previously, there was definitely gaps in it as a business membership that it didn't serve certain people. It served coaches very well of all types of different kinds, health coaches and nutritionists and things like that. But energy healers, whilst it did have like a spiritual leaning in some cases, it didn't really fit for an energy healer. So I left. But the word of the year was a thing that became a thing with that I came across, and it is something that then I see around in mindfulness circles, in the spiritual community, in the circles where people aren't really keen on resolutions, New Year's resolutions. The word of the year is a nice alternative, and it can feel achievable and doable if you give some thought to the word of the year, but also it's a bit trendy, and it could have like outlived its usefulness for some people now, in the fact that, like I said, like other things like resolutions and stuff like that, if you don't give it the attention, if you don't choose your word in a really deep reflective way, then it can become like a resolution, like, you know, by February you forgot what it is, or you're not putting any energy into it. It can be something that just feels like another empty trend. And I think with all of these things, you can put a lot of energy into it and a lot of intention into it, and you can make that a huge part of your self-development journey through a year, through a cycle. You can choose a new word a month if you want. It's like it doesn't have to be a word of the year. It can be a word a quarter. It could be a word a month. It could be, you know, a word a day. Like, you know, I'm done with that word. I want to choose this word. And for some people that is like, some people like do a meditation each day, pick a card each day, choose a word of the day. There's, you know, different things out there that have done for years on the internet, of like, you know, a word a day, I think was a thing on it, and it's like a website or something that does a word a day. Word porn, is it, something like that? I'll probably get like, I'll have to bleep out that word. It's like totally irrelevant. Anyway. But the words of the year, I think, are really, for me, each year that I've done it, whilst I can't remember some of my words, they have been significant at the time of choosing them. So like, I can remember the reasons why I chose the word surrender for 2020. I can remember the reasons why I chose the word playful last year. I do think like I've got some sort of like amnesia on 2021 and 2022, and there's there's definitely some gaps in like almost the events of those years between 2020 and 2024. So choosing a word of the year, I think it can be really powerful for supporting and helping people to put focus on what you want to create in your life. Like, I've seen a lot of people, I was going to make a separate video on this, and maybe I will, but I've seen a lot of people trying to downplay or dismiss the New Year, New You that tends to go around. And, you know, I'm not one for saying there's anything wrong with any part of us. Like, I teach integrating all of our parts. I teach really recognizing and diving into our shadow parts, the parts of ourselves that we don't like. But I also support and actively encourage self-improvement, self-development, healing. I am an energy healer. I am an intuitive holistic therapist. I support people with looking at the parts of themselves that are not serving them, that are not empowering them, that are not lighting them up, that are holding them back from the life they want to have, the life they desire, the life they feel they deserve. And because we all deserve a heart aligned soul purpose life. We all deserve that. Whatever amazing magical wishes that you have, that you would like to create, you deserve that. And so there's so much in the world that's heavy and dense and holding us back from that, that's where we then get stuck in like some dense shadow aspects of ourselves that just don't feel empowering. The self-doubt, the self-esteem issues, the self-loathing even, and the trauma parts, the wounded parts of ourselves that go back to often to childhood, sometimes not even in this lifetime, sometimes it is ancestral and like stories that we've just been fed because of the broken generations before us. And I'll say that, you know, there are, because I know there's a lot of people like, you're not broken. But the generations that think that it's okay to hurt children, for example, to hurt babies, to go around physically punishing, like that's something's not right in the humanity of somebody to think that hurting people is okay. So for me, I'm going to say it, that's broken. That's something broken in the heart humanity of people. And I think it's very, it can be very, it's holding people back to say it's okay to be broken. It's like it gives people an excuse to think, well, you know, what's the point of me even trying? And I'm like, the point of trying is, some part of you isn't happy. If some part of you isn't content, happy, and at peace, then something in your physical body will break down. And that is like, you know, if you heart stops, you're broken. If your lungs aren't functioning correctly, you're broken. If some part of your body isn't, like, physically isn't operating to keep you healthy and alive, then you're broken. You can't pretend that something's not broken. And that's the impact of our mental and emotional well-being that it has on our physical body and our physical well-being, our physical health. So that's where I'm coming from when I say parts of people get broken, because it does have, all of these things have an impact on our physical body, and our physical body is the thing that breaks down. So we can't just keep pretending that we can ignore and like love and light our way out of the dense shadow emotions and trauma events of the past. So the word of the year can be a really simple way of bringing something empowering and something small in a small way that's life-changing and self-development and self-improvement. And I don't think there's anything wrong with wishing to find or be a better version of ourselves. Like I think that that's a good thing when we're maybe coming from traumatized places, or where we're coming from where we've got like generational trauma and ancestral wounds. It can be a really powerful thing to change those parts of us that have these hurt parts. So to choose a word of the year, it can be a word that you really like. You might like playful. For me last year, it was a word that I really wanted to tap into, that energy that my 10-year-old has. I wanted to tap into that more for myself. And in lots of ways I did. Lots of ways I kept up. Actually, there was more that I would have liked to have done, and I do feel like the last quarter of 2024 really sucked a lot of my energy out of me and a lot of my life force out of me. It was quite shocking. I'm going to share, maybe, don't think it'll be tomorrow. I think I've got plans for tomorrow's video, but I'm going to share like a little bit of how 2024 unfolded for me, and where I found and why I'm now here focusing my attention on YouTube and not on other social medias. It doesn't matter what I do to straighten my camera up, it moves. And it's probably because I'm sat on a bed at the end of the day. So, choosing a word of the year might be something that you really like. It might be something that you want to step towards. You might have a goal for the year that you want to work towards, play with, aim for. All of those words. Choose what you like. I don't work at anything. Work's anxiety inducing. If you feel like work is too hard, it's because the word has its roots in anxiety. So just think of that. I'm going to talk about that in a few days. So, choosing a word, I think it should be personal to you, individual to you, as individual as you are. But don't be put off if you see someone else. Wow, I wanted that word and they've got it now. Like, okay, if it really, really bothers you that much, go and look up look up synonyms. I found my word by going and digging around in etymology online. I digging around in the etymology of the words that I was playing with and like drawn to, but didn't want, because like it felt either too similar, we'll talk about them in a minute, too similar to last year's word, or not quite what I'm going for. And eventually just like the word that I chose really like sent a ripple through me that went, yes, that's the right one for this year. And I feel like it's going to be more powerful for me than playful was last year. It's one that I can come back to. Like playful began to feel like a lot of work. Talking of like the word work creates anxiety. So it's another thing to come back to. Like playful felt like a fun word. It felt like, yeah, I want to go for that. I want to be playful. I want to have that playful energy. But it began to feel like work to achieve play, which is ridiculous and it's such a grown-up thing. Like, the whole reason why I chose it is because play should be what we do all the time. I use the word play rather than work in my day-to-day life for things I create, things I'm doing. Most places where people go, I'm going to go and work on my website now, I'll go and play with my website instead, because just the whole energy feels so much lighter. But as I thought about, oh gosh, I've not done anything playful this month. It was like, it felt like hard work. And I'm really thinking that this year's word won't feel like that. It's not feeling like that so far. It feels like a word that it feels a bit daring and a bit what's some of the words that I used to describe it when I was writing about it? It feels, they might come back to me, especially when I tell you what it is in a minute. But it felt like just so out there as a word, different to any of the words that I've ever chosen before. And it felt like, yeah, exciting and thrilling to go and choose this word. And with all its connections and things. Yeah. So choose something that's aligned to you. Write, journal on it. Like journal on like where you'd like to see yourself in 12 months, where you'd like to see yourself in the next, like even just the next few months, where you'd like to see yourself. Something that feels good, something that feels light, something that doesn't feel like work. Something that maybe when you look back on, if you can like vision yourself 12 months in the future, and maybe I wouldn't have chosen playful last year if I could have visioned myself 12 months in the future, what that would look like and what that would, or maybe then I would have actually had a goal for 12 years of playfulness, 12 years of playful energy, what that would look like and how that would feel. And maybe I could have taken that into the third quarter when things went a bit tits up last year. I could have taken that energy into what I was experiencing. And I think I mentioned in my intention video where I'm writing a blog post on business and work and the energy of those words and why even more so I don't like them as words in life in general. And I mentioned that like the things that I've got going on in my house at the moment, I'm still get caught up on it feeling like work to clean and tidy and declutter. It feels like work to have to pack a house up, a house for a family of 5 with so much uncertainty hanging over me. Feels like work. And if I could tap into what that would have looked like with a playful energy, maybe would have saved myself a little bit of the dense, stressful times that the third quarter brought me. So yeah, choose words, journal, reflect on it, think on it, and play with it, and like feel it out for a day or so and go like, how does this feel for me if I'm like focusing and thinking in this word. I like to like check in with my energy regularly through the day. This is how I maintain like calm state of being in chaos, by checking in regularly and consistently with my own energy of like what's this like, what am I feeling right now. And if you take that word of the year for a couple of days and be like, do I feel like I am this thing? Do I feel like I'm embodying this? What would it be like to embody this word right now? And how does that feel for you at periods through the day? And then go like, yeah, this isn't the right word for me, and swap it out. And again, choose a different word every month. Like, there's no rules. It's just like, it might be choose a word for the year and then choose a sub word for each month or each season. Like, what feels good now in the winter might not feel good come the spring or the summer, because it might be like, you might have chosen rest or relaxation for now. It's like, yeah, because that's what we're doing. Like, I did play with using the word rest. That was like, something was like, I've got this whole 6-month process going on, started now in the winter. Rest, surrender, trust, or go with rest. I didn't want to use surrender again. And trust I've either used in the past, or I went to surrender in 2020 because I'd had such a significant journey with trust. But actually, I think trust may have been my word for 2019. I'm not sure. 2018, trust was my word without it being like a chosen word. So I don't think I did have trust in 2019, but yeah, it was really it might be it might be that a word that feels right now doesn't feel right in another season, and that was why I moved away from rest. I was like, yeah, no, but like this is a 6-month process of rest, surrender, trust. I'm going to be the focus is on the next couple of months is on rest, but then I want to change my word to surrender when we step into that part of it. And it might switch and change, and no, rest I feel like I've been leaning into anyway for the last 18 months or so. So like, right, okay. So for me, here's how my process worked on this. So the words that I was playing with were like fun, but then fun felt like it was close to playful, which I thought last year and felt like I'd not really embodied it very well. Ease, because rest was another one that had come in. Enjoyment, like this was like all these things were words that were buzzing around in my head in the last couple of weeks, and when I started thinking on it, and I'm in a membership where we're doing a whole challenge this month on like really integrating and embodying the word of the year that we've chosen. So it was like I knew that was coming up, and I was like thinking like, what word am I going to have? What's my word of the year going to be for 2025? And then on New Year's Eve, I was journaling in the Wealthy Woman journal that I have by my wealth coach, activator, Taylor Eaton. I'll put some links below to her stuff. So I was journaling in the Wealthy Woman journal that I've got. Asking, the question it was asking was, I'm in a chapter on trust, which I've really been resisting doing, which is really interesting. Like I've been resisting journaling on trusting my own ability to create wealth, which is interesting. In quarter five, I've given another quarter to, yeah, it's impossible to have quarter 4 of the year. It's like, yeah, resisting writing and feeling into trusting myself, which is very interesting because obviously I'm deepening the shadow side of what I'm creating in this process, rest, surrender, trust, because in 4 months' time we'll be really deeply exploring what trust really is and what it looks like. And to be able to teach the depths and levels that trust is, I had to kind of fall right into the depths of knowing what it takes to trust, and I've definitely had to do that through the latter end of quarter 4 of 2024. So the question I was answering in the journal was around like good things that have happened with money. And wow, it didn't take me long to come up with some good things, but it upset me because I have had some really, really amazing, really special, really good, positive things come out with money in the last like half of December itself, even the last quarter. Whilst it's been a really stressful, tough, challenging financial time, there's also been some amazing, beautiful experiences that I've had because I opened up and was honest about what it's like in the current climate of the world as it is, when you're looking at creating a conscious livelihood, when you're an energy healer and people don't get what you do and get the importance of it, and with my own hang-ups, and then being hit with this unexpected situation externally involving our house, our home, and what was going on and how that was going to look, and how on earth was I going to find more income to pay for nearly twice as much rent for a new home and everything, all of the other stuff. Is like, I'll talk about it in a couple of days. But when I was like answering this question, positive things with regards to wealth and money and whatever, and I was like, wow, that's like the fact that it took me more than a minute to think of things really hit me hard. I was like, wow, like, I know gratitude, appreciation is so important in creating more of what we want to call in life. It really hit me that, like, it's not that I'm not grateful, I'm like exceedingly grateful. Like, so much gratitude for what I've received and for what people have done for me, and for every client who's booked in, who's pre-booked sessions, every client who came forward and stepped up with early payments and paying in full for things, that long-term things, and wow, and gifts and synchronicities and things like literally working out perfectly. But there's a lot to be said for really, really, really embodying that gratitude and being in that grateful energy all the time. And I know, because of the challenges I've been going through, being in a grateful place has been difficult. It's difficult for me to be grateful for my house when I'm like, everything's falling up, everything's breaking down as well, while it's not being tended to because we're being asked to leave, and it's just so, like, it really impacts where that gratitude can really be, like the depths of it, like the depths of feeling it are a challenge. So I was like, oh well, maybe my word of the year should be gratitude. Really don't like the word gratitude. It feels so cliche and it's so whatever. And it's not like, I went up then, because my favourite thing is to go and look up the etymology of words. And it's a bit of a junk word. It's like, it feels like it's been one of them words created from words that are not really as light and as energetically, emotionally empowering as they could be. I much prefer the word appreciation as an energy, emotional energy for things, and appreciation is a high frequency energy. But I might have had appreciation one year as well, and it feels like that's not really what I was aiming for as a word. But I did go and look up thankful. Thanks and thankful, and that was like, actually that's a nice word. Thankful felt nice. The etymology of it felt nice. And as I was reading through thankfully, there was some words that were popping out that made me go, that feels nice. We'll go and look that up. And the word I eventually chose was, and is, pleasure. And as I like read this in thankfully, it's like the you know, when people say thank you, it's like the pleasure of doing something for in a thankful way. That sort of thing was in thankfully. It's like pleasure. Let's go and look at pleasure, because that feels, wow, I got this. Like, even now, like every time I think about it, every time I mention it, the word just gives me this like little zing of like, yeah, that feels good. That feels like, wow. And I think there's like two sides to pleasure, which when I shared about it in the Wealth Vibe membership that I'm in, it's like, yeah, it's like there is this like, this is almost this like risque side of pleasure, because it's got that connection to it of pleasurable activities that people are shamed for, because like at the end of the day, people are shamed for a whole range of pleasurable activities, like just having a good time, like just enjoying yourself. Sometimes people are shamed for that. People are shamed for wanting to have fun and a nice time, and when you then add other pleasurable things to it that have got like a sexual connotation, or the pleasures of life, pleasure with regards to sex and self-pleasure and things like that, is like, it's a word that's got a little bit of a risque kind of vibe about it. But also there's that, the way that, you know, I often do say when people thank me for things, oh, it's my pleasure to help you, it's my pleasure to support you, it's my pleasure to give of myself to you, to support you and help you. And like, pleasure feels really good, and I want more of that in my life. I want more of that feeling and energy and emotion in my life that brings. And it plays into fun and enjoyment and playfulness, and those are the things that I want in life. Pleasure felt like it encompassed all of it, but felt a little bit like, a little bit different and out there. And I still can't think of the word that I used in my description of it. It's still not coming to me, of like, no, it's not coming to me. But it feels really powerful to choose that word. And it's what I want. It's why I want to create videos, because I actually love doing it. I love it. I have a lot of fun doing it. I love a lot of fun talking to the camera, talking to myself. I have a lot of fun creating, and it feels much more comfortable to me, and I can say much more and get through a lot more. And also for me, on the other side, when I'm receiving stuff from other people, I like to watch videos. I like to listen to content. Even if I'm not watching a video, I will listen to stuff, and like have like my laptop here and have my AirPods in and be wandering around my house cleaning and whatever, listening to something that's playing in here. And like it feels so much more enjoyable to me to create this than to write. And then also, and so then you have to, when you're reading something, you have to give your attention to it, and things. Whilst I also, as something that I'm covering in the Restaurant of Trust process, I'm like, there's a lot to be said for actually not doing other things while you're watching and listening to a video as well. But also it's a lot easier to absorb and for me to create video content than written content as well. So that plays into it. It feels like, I want to have fun, I want to play, I want my whole year to be a pleasure, and not some of what 2024 turned into. And I'm not knocking 2024, it was an amazing year. Like, actually, as the years go recently, 2024 was definitely the best year. 2024 was my best year by far. It was my best year for Indigo Sky Holistic. It was my best year for myself. It was my best year for so much. It's the best year for my family. But that fourth quarter can go and do one. As so much like just fell apart and crumbled all at the same time. But yeah, more on that to come. So that's it. Word of the year. Choose a word of the year. And I'd love to know what word of the year you're chosen. And yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Lots and lots in there. Take what you like. I'd love to hear what you think and what your word of the year is. And anything that you feel is relevant. And I will see you all in another video soon. Bye.